Hello, y'all. It's June 3rd, right about noon Pacific Standard Time. This is Zenzile. It's been a good day. Yesterday was the so-called Blackout Tuesday. I did some good work. Whether anybody managed to follow me, I work at my own pace, which is a little bit supra-human. But it's there on LinkedIn. I'm really thinking I probably should go get some screen prints and some URLs and articleize that forever. Today, is a day after I had another burst of, is it time to end it all? Now, I think we're misinterpreting some of the impetus behind asking that question. Most especially if our bodies are not operating optimally, we're in a serious problem when that question comes around. But it's kind of really normal, human, adult for that question to come around. Why am I here? Should I stay? Do I have anything I need to do? Can I handle just saying bye-bye? These again, we created so much tension around this that it should be coming up. And it should be coming up in a place where your body is capable of processing those thoughts so that you can state them the way I stated them, as just interesting philosophical questions. We're all denying the amount of philosophy we're doing. In our own minds, we want meaning, we want purpose, and we simply can't figure out how that works in a 40-hour work week, because it doesn't. The 40-hour work week is harming humanity, okay? We are not widgets. We are not assembly line beings. There must be an immense more push for homeodynamic flexibility in every single endeavor, whether it's making a living or being healthful, or becoming a parent, everything needs some chaos theory up in that joint. All of our systemic problems, our hierarchies, comes right down to we're not treating humans like humans, especially the fact that racism is a mind virus. How you could possibly have been convinced that somebody of a different skin color, well, I'm not going to say those things that are in your mind. I don't know what you think, because I have never thought like that. I really can't. I mean, yes, I'm an American adult at 51 years old, and I'm forced to, like, with a gun in my head, I can say those things. But even here, when I'm trying to dispute those things, and I've got you on the journey with me, I can't say those things. They're so untrue to me. This is why I have 100% certainty in being a prominent anti-racist. Why I can go on LinkedIn and stand up to professional after professional white person perpetuating racism, having no idea that they're trying. There's just literally everything coming out of people's mouths is wrong. There's no personality to it. It's simply sheep. Well, we just want this all to normalize again. Types of, I'm so horrified. Let me just be clear, I'm horrified. Now can we go back to normal? Let me make sure y'all know I don't like this. Can we go back to normal? Fucking hell, white people! There's nothing humane about normal. For anyone. You're simply missing the timing variable, you all. It is as simple as that. Of course, it belongs in the discussion at some point. That it should be the case that in this beautiful world that Deb, Zenzile, the redheaded She-Hulk, is trying to get y'all to fucking pay attention to, in that world, of course. We all see skin color and we love it. We find it all gorgeous, all of it. We want to just every single new skin color that we come upon. See how different the thoughts in my mind are about skin color? They are radically different than any thoughts I've ever heard put out in the public. Will you be as staunchly in love with darker skin as I am? Who cares? All it takes is seeing that there is this actual perspective that exists. It really is that simple. We can't dismantle anything about the concept of racism as it stands. What we have to do is transmute it, like the N-word was. What that takes is for all of us, as a collective species, 7.8 billion in 2020, having the fear of viral times ratchet all of us up into such emotional basket cases as adults, because we are stretched so freaking close to just snapping over the financial reality of like barely 100 men who are alive. They're the ones keeping us all in this torture. Got so much abundance and we just spread it out amongst all 7.8 billion with almost no rules. We shall make some, because where there is inequity, there needs to be more support to get to level. But beyond that, all we're trying to do is get people into homes where they're at. Forget the concept of bills, zero out everything. We have the technology to simply zero out finances for 2020 and start everyone over again on January 1st, 2021 with a fresh equivalent slate. The game just, we tilted the fucking planet Earth, right, Earthlings? The person who has the quarter for the next game is me. Listen to fucking me. It don't have to be anything like what I say it is. The concept that this is as simple as doing this is what I'm all about. There will be other people who are better at the implementation strategy. But those people are so deeply into all of their implementation mindset that they can't just go, yes. We simply can. Everything in zeros and ones, y'all. Everything. Nothing exists. The things that we think are enslaving us are concepts of the economy, money, the legal system. They're concepts, they're concepts, they're concepts. We zero out life before 2020. And on 2021, every human alive across the globe gives their monopoly money. What's going to happen when everyone is essentially the same in their own houses, have their own skills and whatever, but we're all just going to want to start playing. Well, I am who I am. I know what I know. I can do what I can do. And there's no real necessity for competition. There's so much that needs to get fixed, so much that needs to get upgraded, so much. So what we're essentially doing is saying, for like 2 to 3 years, 2021, January 2021 to 22, 23, everyone gets monopoly money. On an upfront basis, let's again cancel out debt, do everything, make it all so like it happens to all of us, corporations, people of every nation, to all of us. Then what happens is we have the legacy of our assets and but we're just going to play the next few years as if that's invisible, as if it's really somewhere we can't touch, because that's the case. If we keep touching that, we're not working on saving human lives. Let's save all the humans. Let's design systems where all the humans can play whatever game they want to. And the people who really do want to be rich, 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 they can play a section of the game, but they must be held accountable to not harming other people. They gotta play a fair game. The game of corporate capitalism is rigged in so many ways that they can't be seen. But you gotta ask me. I'll tell you about it. They've created a world where we all must have jobs. And then they exclude nearly all of us. They say we're not good enough, we don't have the degrees or the looks or the... You can't say everyone needs a job, but none of y'all is good enough. It's a rigged motherfucking global economic system, because the economic system is based on the corporate capitalist system of America that's been exported everywhere. And it may be implemented differently. Social democracies in Europe, it may be implemented differently in Africa, whether you got a couple social democracies and some despotic regimes and all in between. The fundamental thing is, since about the 1980s, let me go historically with how we ended up here. I think it's a good idea. We try and be as quick as possible. How racism and capitalism are intertwined happened in like the mid 1400s. You'll read How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi, and you'll find the story of Henry the Navigator. It's online, it's like a lit hub or some sort of it's a really crucial essay. So you got this guy, Henry the Navigator in Portugal. I'm not saying anything more about him, but you intertwine him with the fact that Jonas Gutenberg created the printing press, 1440. These two men intertwine poison with printing. The second humans had the power to have words that could live forever. I've got some notes here for a video I did over the weekend. It hasn't been watched by the person it was intended for. This is the state of the world. We're all making content for ourselves. Nobody's consuming it. The consuming class is just sheep. They're so dumb from having to consume, right? Just like my Michelin woman persona in my body. I had to consume so many calories because the options to me to being this person saying these things didn't exist. Didn't exist first and foremost in my own mind because of my community of origin and how I was brought up. We must build a world where kids have exposure to absolutely everything. And then what's going to happen when they become adults and have agency to create things for the globe, there's going to be nirvana around this joint before I check out. If y'all listen to me. And take my creative analytical fictionalizations off into your specific spheres. And say, she's right, None of this is real. It's a concept. And we could just undo things and do them differently. And do things differently. We can say everybody has what they have. Everyone lives where they live. We've got nobody going into corporate office buildings. So we put all the homeless people into the corporate campuses and corporate office buildings. We all stay at home. We all then get enough money to have internet access and whatever. A portion of us must go out and keep people alive. Not police. We need no more police. If everybody's in their home, the police is disbanded, right? There's no crime if everybody's in their home for the virus. For the next year, we'll figure all that out. We'll get the real science, not the science that's like, more people just gonna keep dying. And it's up to, right, the way the thing is if we don't stay in until we truly understand, not just one novel coronavirus, there are at least the East Coast, West Coast. Very, very much the serovars. Again, you're not getting this data. You don't have time for it. You're fighting your Twitter battles and shit. But I'm telling you, there's at least 2 serovars, completely different. What's happened on the West Coast, what's happened on the East Coast are entirely different fatality rates, entirely different intensity. And some of it, we're not seeing it clearly because we don't have I have the capacity to have big data in my own brain because I use philosophy. We're not looking at it. It's not, population density is a very reliable indicator, but that can't possibly be it when the city of Compton is doing so well. City of Richmond in the Bay Area. What are these really well-known deeply economically disadvantaged, 100% Black communities, close to 100%, that are known for some violence. Why are people not really dying there? In the same ways as in Brooklyn, the Bronx, all over the New York metro 3-state area. In the pockets. It's an important question, and the question is both, 100%, don't get me wrong. The people of Compton, there are many, many reasons and many levels of how that's happening, but why are we not finding these communities and talking about them? Where are the reporters? What are they doing? Please, I'm just a philosopher over here. Okay. The point I came to make is that I want to explain about mindfulness and meditation and gamma brainwaves. It's a simple metaphor, and you're probably not going to be with me here. This is the thing about, I'm in charge, I'm the smartest, and I just need to get this out here in a recording for my own sake, because I've been thinking this through for a long time, and I mean, this is really just as simple as the simple can get. Mindfulness and meditation, both together, separately, individually, depending on what you're talking about, these are the clutches. It's a clutch. So that we can access, you have to push down that clutch. You have to be in essentially theta brain state. All right, which is somewhere around 7.83 hertz down 3 under into 2. This section of about 5 hertz of brain waves, which you watching me now fully embody for you. A living demonstrator of embodied cognition, of the way body and mind work in parallel. And we can test this on the hertz. I don't have access to machines, not since I had the lens treatment, which was August to October 2018. Let's make sure that's the year. I think that must be. It has to be the year. 2018. So just a real small section of time. And I just really wanted to know what it was, and I didn't really get any data from the person or the process itself, but my body had to tell me, and I understand. Now I'm up into doing a little alpha creativity. Just I understand. What's the question? You know, I can't describe it to you. Am I changing my brainwave states, or my brainwave states changing me? It's obviously the polarity of both. This is an embodied state, a different posture, a different kind of talking. Everything becomes very coherent as far as where I'm at in the chart of brainwaves. There's a brainwave that's getting no play. That is delightful. Gamma brainwaves. Now I smiled so much because I can explain it to you so simply with my red-headed She-Hulk metaphor. Because there's the Bruce Banner of all of this. But there is also, when I go green, I don't get all muscly and angry like Lou Ferrigno. I just go heart chakra green, and I come up into the gammas, and I'm just so playful, so joyful. Just, I understand that this is literally like a gear. Gamma brainwaves are, but you have to have a clutch. You have to have went down into theta. You have to be in loving kindness. You have to be a caring soul, doing nothing but the absolute best. And the only way you get to that is to trust yourself. You have to have had these experiences and mindfully participated in them back and forth and around and forward to understand yourself, to understand the creative language you use when you're telling the God's honest truth about the theory of everything. So see, now I'm shifting it down. If I'd have went on and on and on right there, our culture has created a sense that maybe there's a little bit of a break with reality. The thought that there's a break from reality and the enforcement of people's communities of residence at the time when they're having these joyful thoughts determine whether a person starts to go, if you've gotten there in the right way, the endogenous way, using your body fully. So when you just take a chemical, a pill, a drug, you get into these states and you haven't done the preparatory work. You don't understand the framework of how you become. And it can be the case that, again, in our challenging modern life with all of these work weeks and all of this stress and all of the commute and the poisons, the chemical smells must go, y'all. Make the chemical smells right now. Stop it, stop, 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 stop. Oh, natural, no more smell. No, nothing. And anything that smells, you know, I'm running things now, right? We have agreed at that. So first things first, because y'all poison nearly the person who knows everything. There we go again. Fully in control. There's a shortcut. It's like a hashtag back to the previous bit of this stand-up philosophy performance. Just trust out. Just let her run shit. Well, what she means by that, and again, just is let me talk like this to the people who run every shit, like in combination. So one business leader, one government leader, this country, this color, that color, this gender, that gender. Why do we even care who people have sex with? I'm still a little bit baffled about what any of y'all need to know about people having sex with. Why do we judge people for... Y'all see, my brain does not conceive of these things. My brain sputters the fuck out when it comes to prejudice. It just really, it's where does this shit come from? How do I explain? I can't explain. It doesn't, no. And that cognitive dissonance about being told to be prejudiced against another person who you're kind of curious about or completely indifferent to, or being told to think a way about them, to be cautious of them, to fear them, to want to challenge them, think that, yeah. Again, see, we're hitting, you know, where to the next step, and I can't say it. Look at the hands. It's like, it upsets me so much. I had to process that energy with a lot of physical movement. This is the self-trauma that happens. When you have a thought that doesn't agree with, it's cognitive dissonance, okay? Something said and something you believe has been said and something new is said and they don't agree with each other and you don't know what to do. If you can't process it, whether through having the cognitive processing power or the physical movement, like, oh, what's my body saying? No, my body says, no, the two don't make sense. So there I was again, in neutral, letting the clutch come down. About time to cancel this ongoing recording this, because I can go on for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. I enjoy trying to sort the world out. And I've recorded myself for at least 100 hours and played my film. There is some self-aggrandation for the purpose of helping everyone feel like this, because I need people to play with. And it is that simple. Once you've tasted the freedom that I have, and free will is not possible unless you know how to operate gamma brainwaves. You know, When everything aligns, you can have a burst, but it doesn't work like that. The world is complex, and you really need to be in control of your own free will, and your own free will resides in your gamma brainwaves, and it is a physically embodied state of supra energy. You gotta be both physiologically optimized, and to be thin, and to be the current perception of beauty. You have to be operating at the optimal capacity of your own vessel. And you need to have extreme mental fitness. So you got a lot of people right now who have bodies that y'all admire, whose brains don't function at all. I have it both, and having this optimal brain is optimizing this body in delightful ways. And I'm about to go take care of this vessel, do some things that I'm excited to do in the middle of my day. Good old Maxwell over there on the bows. Yeah, that'll be it. I can go right around. Here we are. All right, y'all. That was a half an hour with Zenzile on June 3rd, 2020. 12:29 p.m. Over and out. No, peace and racial harmony.